What is going on, guys? Rags here, back with another fighter interview. We have Mike here as always, and we have undefeated 126-pound contender / prospect Maliek Montgomery. Maliek, how are you doing today?
Hey man, I'm doing good, feeling blessed, relaxing at the weekend of the fights.
Yep. So kicking this thing off with my first question. How has, working with Kenny Porter, what effect has that have on you?
More than anything, it's really taught me to focus more on the mental aspect of boxing rather than just the physical aspect. And part of that in and out of the ring is being able to fight through adversity when it comes in the ring, and thinking my way through situations rather than just attacking everything with emotion and physicality.
Right. That's great to hear, because I know Kenny, he's a really good trainer, father of Shawn Porter. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm very hyped to see what he's cooking up with you. What were you thinking when you got buzzed in the fight? I believe it was like round 9 or round 10. You got buzzed by one of your opponent's shots. What was going through your head?
Believe it or not, I know every fighter. I feel like every fighter says the same thing that ever got caught with a shot or anything that went through anything like that throughout a ring, throughout a fight. And I wasn't hurt. It was more so shock of me getting caught, and all I could think was, "Dang, that looked bad, and I got to get that back."
Right, for sure.
I feel you on that. We can tell that you were in pretty great shape, man, because the goal that you guys were throwing a lot of punches, the way how y'all were fighting, and to take that type of shot in round 9, you ate that pretty well, man, and you just kept coming. It's not like you got hit and you're like, oh shit. Nah, you kept coming after that, so that shows you was in pretty great shape, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's part. Of course, we don't sit there and just practice taking shots, but a part of our conditioning is be able to weather the storm and fight through, shots like that. And, because again, you're in a fight on, in the national television on this level of boxing, and, anything can happen. And in instances like that, yeah, you could be winning, carrying a fight. And in the latter round, second to last, in this case, you can be caught with a good shot.
All right.
Yes, sir. My first question for you is, what made you get into boxing, or what made you love boxing?
Ultimately, it was my father. I've always been a multi-sport athlete. Football was my first love. But one day, we just so happened to be sitting at home playing the game one day, and my dad asked if we wanted to go to the gym with him, to the boxing gym with him, at a local boxing gym. And ever since then, I've been in the gym. I fell in love with it, and my dad always pushed me to be the best that I could be at anything I did, and coming up through the ranks and everything. And it was always, my father pushed me to be what I am in boxing.
Right. Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah. So your opponent Jukumov, he seemed to be hitting you with his hardest shots. My question for you is, what would you rate his power?
Honestly, I feel like I'm kind of biased because it takes a lot to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And I fought. I was 2-time national Golden Glove champion through the amateurs. I've competed in plenty of nationals. I've competed overseas against different tournaments. Different fighters, and I've sparred people 160, people 170, and I've fought people that hit a lot harder than Aleem. But I would maybe rate his power at like a 6.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes, sir. Before I ask this next one, I'm just curious, what's your favorite football team?
New England Patriots.
Okay.
New England Patriots. It was the first team it was my first football team I ever watched was a New England Patriots game. They were actually in the Super Bowl. And yeah, it's definitely New England Patriots.
I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that. How does it, well, since, after the fight, how does it feel to be like in a slugfest? And did it feel like an old school boxing match to you? A lot are saying that it felt like a 1930, 1920 slugfest fight.
Honestly, it felt good. My coach, we work on, we work on the sweet science of the game as far as, setting things up, working off a jab, fighting, using distance and range. And it's actually times he has to reel me in and, get me to focus on the game plan, because especially if I get caught with a good shot or I land a good shot, I want to go right back into the fire and turn it into a fight. And I feel at home when I'm fighting like that, and I feel, that's my element. So yeah, it felt good. Yeah, it was real good, man. And then being that this was my first 10-rounder and it actually went the distance, of course, we prepared for 10 rounders. We've been prepared for 10 rounders since I was fighting 4 rounds. And but you never know. You can say you're in shape and this and that, but you never know until you actually put to the test. And going until I think the 6th round, because none of my fights have made it past 4. Going to the 6th round, my coach asks me "Hey, how you feeling? How you doing?" And I'm like, "Yo, I feel amazing. I feel like I don't know whether it was adrenaline or what it was, but I was amped up throughout that whole fight. And every time it turned into one of those, okay, he caught me with a shot. Oh, I got to get that back. It just added more fuel to my fight."
All right. I feel you on that, man. That's a scary sight for the rest of the division, man. If you able to go 12 rounds, just fighting like that, because a lot of dudes don't like to get in slugfest or to get in brawls or fight like that. They want to box and stuff, but you did that for 10 rounds, and you saying ooh wee, yeah, that's a scary sight, my boy.
Yeah, man. Honestly, fighters aren't built the way they used to be built, man. And it's just, and it's not, it's not to stray away from the science in itself, but, as far as boxing and using angles and hit and not get hit, it's to take nothing away from that key element, which makes boxing what it is to this day. But a lot of guys aren't built to go through that type of adversity and push through it to better themselves. And it's partially the reason why a lot of people got into boxing is, to do something different, something that's going to challenge them as a person, challenge them and force them to have to evolve. And a lot of people, they reach that, they really hit that wall of, limits where they won't go. And that happens to ring all the time. A lot of guys aren't willing to take it that far.
All right.
Yes,
all right.
sir.
And speaking of 10-round bouts, that leads me into my next question. Would you like to fight on more, 10-round bouts and more 10-round bouts?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think 10, we're 12. That's it. And we're trying to work on a fight day now in November, I think. And so yeah, when November it'll be a 10-rounder. And I would love to get back on the ring, get back on Fox maybe, and showcase, put on another show for the world.
Right. Yeah, Fox and Showtime, they're both putting on some great shows, 10-rounder and 12-rounders. But yeah, man, my next question is, how did you feel stamina-wise during the fight, going into the final round and after? Did you feel pretty good? Or was there a little bit of tiredness, but nothing, really too bothering? Or
I felt good. One of our philosophies that my coach impresses on us throughout training camp is the 10th, or it's the first. Always treat the 10th like the first round, and that's how we go into every round. We go into every round treating it just like the first round, so we're fresh mentally. We're fresh just like we were in the first round, and then a part of the conditioning that we go through in training camp your body follows suit. And going into the 10th round of this fight, I felt really good mentally. I felt like I was far ahead on the cards. I felt like I was doing what I really wanted to throughout the fight, even with the shot in the ninth. For the remainder of the round, I battered him. And so going into the 10th, I felt amazing. This is my first 10th rounder. I was on TV. I had my family there, and I just felt amped up for the 10th, and it felt like the first round.
All right. I feel you on that. I feel you.
So, who do you think will be your biggest fight at 126, or who do you think will be that fight that will, take your career over the top in that division?
Right, we haven't really been looking at any of the big names at 26. We're really finding our sport, and we're still learning ourselves. I'm still learning myself as a fighter, and continuing to grow and be a better fighter to get to that point to where we feel like we can compete on a world level. But I know I think a big name coming from 22, he's fighting at I think he's gonna compete at 126. Navarrete. I feel like because of his style, that'll be a great fight for me down the line.
Okay. I feel you on
that. All right. Yes, sir. That leads into my next question. What are your overall thoughts on the 126 division in boxing? I feel that it's a very slept on division. We have a lot of good champions. There's not too many interim and, super champions. There's only 5 divisions in the weight class if you look at BoxRec, which is relatively low if you look at other weight classes. That has a lot of talent with contenders and prospects like you. Well, what are your overall thoughts on the division?
I think it's a great division to campaign in. Like you said, I feel like it's less polluted with, all paper champions and all these different branch offs. And it's kind of hard for guys, especially at the top level, at the world class level at 126 to avoid each other because of the fact that there's so limited on champions. And I just really feel like it's and like you said, slept on division because it's a lot of skilled fighters at 126. And a lot of people looking at, the 147 division and the heavyweight division right now, what's going on. And they're really not focusing as much on the 126. But I think in a year or two, I'm really looking to shake things up and bring more attention to the division.
All right. Yep. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes, sir. And my next questions, I just want to get your opinion, your thoughts on. We got a few big fights coming up. In October and in November. What are your thoughts on Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos Jr.?
Ultimately, I think Kambosos is a really tough competitor. I actually watched quite a few of his fights. And I feel he's lacking on the power portion of it, but he makes up for it with his skill in the ring and his punch volume in the ring and his ferociousness in the ring. But I really feel like Teo has too many weapons. He has too many weapons for him to contest against, whether it's his counterpunching, whether it's punching power, his speed, his ring IQ. And I just really feel like that actually will be, that's one of those shoe-in fights where I feel like Teofimo should win that fight pretty convincingly and with ease.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the trilogy fight between Deontay Wilder and Fury?
I feel like it's a toss-up. The reason why I say it's a toss-up, I feel like Tyson Fury is more skilled boxer, more sharpened boxer than he is, ring IQ wise, setting up. He actually, uses IQ to set up shots, works off his jab. But Deontay Wilder, of course, has that one utilize, equal that power, and literally at any moment he could land it right in the night.
So you think that one's going to be a toss up?
Yeah, I feel like that's a toss up. That's whoever show up that night.
Right.
I feel you. Two more on these big fights. What are your thoughts on they just had the little press conference or little promo, whatever it was, between Canelo and Caleb Plant?
I actually know Caleb good. I know Caleb very well from the amateurs. Coming up through the amateurs, we used to meet up all the time at the regional Golden Glove, and I used to see them at nationals. Caleb's a great guy and a very great boxer. I feel like that's one of those toss-ups because of the fact that right now, as of right now, I feel like Canelo is arguably, top 3 when it comes to pound for pound as of right now, and up there with, Terence Crawford, of course. And but I feel like Caleb is really slept on. He's a bigger guy, and Caleb has superb boxing IQ that a lot of people people tend to overlook. And I feel like that's gonna be a good matchup. I feel a lot of people think that Canelo's gonna win it easy, but this is boxing, and anything happen in boxing.
All right.
Yeah, I personally can't wait to see that fight myself. And my last one, we just heard about this fight being made. What do you think about Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter?
I like Terence as a fighter. I like his attitude towards fighting in general. Of course, Shawn's my guy. Yeah, Shawn's my guy. And I've trained in the gym with Shawn. I've seen his work ethic in the ring and outside the ring, and I really feel like Terence has never been in the ring with anybody like Shawn. I don't feel like he's ever been pushed how he's going to be pushed versus Shawn. And we've seen in multiple fights that he's had, the fights that he won, that he's either to stick and force the fight. And I really feel like this is one of those bad matchups for Terence that he put the fight, and I feel like it really does play in favor Terrence's attitude fighting, because he likes fighting. You would assume he would go in there and want to just purely box and try to win and keep getting his beat and everything else. But Terence is a fighter. He gets caught with a shot and he's trying to come back with stick more, and now it's turned into and I feel like it beat him in conditioning, just from pitch. So I feel like Shawn's gonna take this one.
I feel you, man. Shawn had a great fight with Earl Spence Jr., man. I ain't gonna forget about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is all the questions that we have for you, Maliek. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to speak with us. Guys, follow Maliek on Instagram, Maliek_mayhem95. Follow Mike on Instagram at mgballer5, and follow me at YTRax. Mike, any last words for Maliek?
Just say thank you, man. Keep doing you and keep inspiring the young generation.
Man, thank you guys for having me on here, man, and allowing me to be on. Use you guys' platform to keep building my brand.
For sure, no problem. Thank you, Maliek.